welcome to the Illinois Running News Podcast. This is part 2 of this week, this very long week of competition. In this, we are breaking down the IESA state meet and just talking about it after a very long weekend in Bloomington Normal at Maxwell Park. 4 classifications. This is my first time. Of course, last year was the first year of 4 classifications, but this was my first time at the IESA state meet with 4 classifications. If you want to watch me talk about the conference results from this past week, then please watch my edited video on that. But without any further ado, let's get into the IESA state meet. So so let's start out with the 1A girls. Great race overall. It was Molly Mako, though, getting the individual win. 11:35. I don't think a lot of people were shocked by that. Gianna Savada of St. James was second at 11:46. First mile, the race went out pretty hot. Molly Mako opened up in 5:42. So, definitely a pace that she's able to handle. But yeah, the pack Taylor Short tried going out with her a little bit, but it was just no match at that time. So yeah, but Mako just dragged out the pack with her, kind of coasted in that next half mile. She had a 3:02 half mile split, going from 1 to 1.5, and then she capped it off with a 2:50 last 800 to win with 11:35. Yeah, just good racing overall by Molly Mako. She wasn't really touched this entire race, but I don't think really anybody expected that going into this race. But she looked amazing. On the team side, it was Arlington Heights St. James who just honestly led this race the entire way through. They were the number 1 team at 1 mile. They were the number 1 team at 1.5, and they were the number 1 team at the finish. They scored 90 points. St. Pius was second. Same thing. They were second throughout the entire race. Brimfield was third throughout the entire race, and they were third overall. And then Downers Grove, St. Mary Goston was fourth. They got the last trophy on the 1A girls side. They had 210 points there for 4th place. But yeah, 1A girls just kicked off the day real good with a fast time, and then we moved on to the 1A boys, where it was a highly anticipated battle between Abram Garcia and Ulrich Swan. Garcia of Polo and Ulrich Swan of St. Matthias out of Chicago. And taking us through the opening mile, it was actually a little bit of a slow opening mile for what I was expecting. They opened up in 5:18. They negative split this race, which you don't see at the state meet, especially on the middle school side. You really don't see that. So Abram Garcia went 5:18, 5:15 for that second mile. He ended up pulling away from Ulrich Swan, though, in the last probably about 150 meters or so. He ended up winning by 5 seconds. Ulrich Swan was second in 10:38. So great overall effort by him. The team race got very interesting, very fast. It was St. Raymond who ended up getting that team win over St. Matthias. St. Matthias probably came in as the favorite to this race. St. Raymond scored 80 points overall, though. They sorry, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so if I pause, it's because I'm trying to hold off a cough or something. But it was St. Raymond. They led the race the entire way through in terms of the team score. They were first at the mile, first at the 1.5, first at the finish, of course. St. Matthias, they got out and hold on one sec here. Sorry about that. And they were second throughout too. Not much in terms of place changing throughout the race. They held pretty consistent to what they opened up in. But yeah. Burnfield was third with 142 points. Holy Cross was fourth with 152 points. So yeah, good race there on the 1A boys part. Then later on in the day, we moved on to the 2A girls race. Hazel Atkins. So actually, before we talk about this was probably the most hyped individual race of the day going into it. A lot of people were very excited for this race to kick off, and it was shown by an opening mile of 5. They opened up in 5:50. Pretty good, pretty honest, but the pack was just so big at that at the first mile. I mean, there were 6 girls in that pack throughout the first mile. So, and then the rest of the race was getting strung out a little bit after that. But Audrey Dickinson was looking great through 1.5. She was first at the 1.5 mark. And just that final 800 meters of the race, though, it looked like she started faltering, and that's when Hazel Atkins stepped in from Shelbyville Moulton, ended up getting the individual win. As a 7th grader, she ran 11:46. Dickinson was second, 11:50. Barrett Sure was third, 11:50. Chloe Milton was fourth, 11:52. Phoebe Dufresne of West Sacrament was 11:53 for 5th. Barwegan of Clifton Nash was 6th and 11:59. So 6 girls broke 12 in this race. Probably the best individual race of the day. It got very, very fun, very fast. Shelbyville Moulton ended up getting the team win overall, 87 points. I thought that they would score a little less. They still got the win. It still scored 87 points. They've looked like the number 1 team in the state all year. We'll have to see what happens when we merge results. But Metcalf was second, 129. Athens was third overall. They moved up from their 4th place mark at the mile. They had 148 points for third, and then it was Blessed Sacrament who ended up taking 4th, the last team spot, with 159 points. Yeah, great performances there. Onto the boys' side, yeah. So there's a lot of questions going into this about visitation. Joey McKillop did not run at the sectional. If he was going to race at the state meet, the race was pretty good from the start. About 9 guys in that opening mile were in that top group, strung out between 4 seconds of each other. Gavin Moffitt was leading that group though, but right after the mile mark is when Jacob McKillop said, "No, this is my race to go now," and ended up just taking it, put 4 seconds on to Moffitt by the 1.5 marker, and then another 10 seconds after that from the 1.5 to the finish to win in 10:34 overall. Moffitt was second, 10:46, and then his brother, or Jacob's twin brother, Joseph McKillop, was third and 10:53. So yeah, just good racing over there. Edward Malley was James Masaka was 4th at 10:53. Edward Malley of Old St. Mary was 5th in 10:55. Tanner Telford of Visitation was 6th and 10:59. Visitation looked great throughout the entire race. They went out really smart and actually ended up picking a lot of guys off throughout the race. They ended up with a score of 28 points, which I still have to look, but I think that might be one of the lowest scores in IESA history. Really impressive. After the race, I thought so. So McKillops had a brother that went to Fenwick, was part of Fenwick's 2021 state championship team, and I thought, oh yeah, for sure going to Fenwick. But they opened the door to a potential a potential of going to York, and it sounded like they like, you know, Jacob sounded like they were going to York. So next year, he said it's between them, York and Fenwick. So yeah, if York gets those two, that's uh oh. Yeah, Old St. Mary's was second, 127 points. LaGrange, St. Francis was third, 155. Germantown Hills was fourth and 175. Yeah, great team race there. On to the 3A girls race now. Man, we knew going into this race it was going to be between Graceline Mabry and Chloe Wettstein. They went out with each other and ran essentially the whole race until probably the last 150, 200 meters, where Graceline Mabry finally started pulling away from Chloe Wettstein. And yeah, both of them just looked great throughout the race. Mabry won in 11:25. Wettstein was second in 11:31. Team-wise, Metamora ended up getting the team win, 140 points. MacArthur was second. Prospect Heights, MacArthur, where Graceline Mabry goes. They were second on 162. Lake Zurich South was third, 165. And River Forest Roosevelt was fourth and 166. So here we go. 12 points separated. Or here, let's go to this. 25 points separated, second from sixth. That's crazy. But then it was 12 points between second to fifth. Extremely tight race. Or if we want to go to this, first to sixth was 47 points. So extremely tight racing here. Yeah, this could have shaped out a multitude of ways, which is what I thought heading into this race. But yeah, just good team battle here. A very close team battle. Onto the boys' side, we were looking forward towards Ethan Carter and Chris Benny going at it. Chris Benny had a great week at the sectional last week. Ran 10:18. Now, the splits did not catch Ethan Carter the first mile and a half. They didn't get his splits, unfortunately. But he looked great. He just took it out from the gun. He had to have been close to opening up in 5 minutes and ended up splitting 5:14. But he wanted to go at the record, at the state record, he had said. He ran 10:14 overall for the win. Chris Benny was second, 10:32. Chris Benny is only a 7th grader. That kid's coming back next year. Going to be really exciting. There was a total of 6 guys in this race that ended up breaking the 11-minute barrier. So great racing there from the individuals. Willowbrook Westview Hills got the team win by 1 point. 1 point over River Trails, who was second. River Trails 108 for second place. Dixon Reed, they defending state champs. We knew, after sectionals, we knew this race was going to be good between the two of them. And 1 point ends up separating the two of them. Dixon Regan ended up getting a trophy here in third with 143. And then Shanahan was fourth with 180 points. Yeah, great teams there. I thought the team race was great. It was interesting, though, to see Dunlap not get a team trophy. I thought that they would get a team trophy, but it's just how things play out sometimes, You're banking on one day being your best day of the year, so or up to a certain standard. So, yeah, they ended up not getting a trophy there, but congrats to those 4 teams that ended up getting it. And then we move on to the final classification. The 4A girls race, or the 4A girls race will kick off the 4A classification. Adelaide Gala of Arlington Heights Thomas gets the individual win, 11:56 over Lily Binger, 11:58. This team race the individual race got very close, very fast. When you saw everybody turn onto the final straightaway, and you can see the finish line, I think, there were like 10 girls within contention to win this race. And it was Gala who just continued to keep her distance. She had about 3 seconds on the field at the 1.5 marker, along with her teammate who was with her. But that gap ended up closing just slightly at the finish line, and like Lily Binger ended up just trying to track her down. But yeah, it was just really good racing overall by this whole field. Adeline Gala it goes to Thomas, which typically goes to Hersey, but she said that she moved mid school year, so she's actually going to Prospect next year. So yeah, speaking of that, Arlington Heights Thomas gets the team win, 80 points. Mount Prospect Lincoln, 82 points for second. Thomas gets their second state title in that many years, in 2 years. Muhammad Seymour was third, 134. And the Manuka girls ISA team, the middle school team, is a powerhouse. They somehow win a trophy every year, it feels like. So congrats to Coach Neisler, and congrats to Manuka for winning another trophy. I know. Rotolo was sixth here. Didn't have their best race overall, but still they had a great effort. Luckily, those girls will have 4 more years in high school to try and get a trophy at the high school level. That's the best part about this. A lot of kids are down and upset this weekend about not getting all state, or not being top 10, or not winning the state meet, or all this stuff. And it's like, you still got 4 years. It's a great thing to work for 4 years. It was kind of, I was surprised hearing, and you see this, like there's some all-staters out there that will say, oh, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. Well, the job's not finished yet, really. This is where I'm thinking is like, you're so good at this, and you still have so much to attain, or that you can attain at the high school level. Why not finish what you started? You put in all this work for 3 years, finish it off at the high school level. It's the best decision you'll ever make. So hopefully, those people that maybe felt a little bit discouraged by this week because they didn't reach their goals, turn that into track, and they turn that towards high school. They still have so much time ahead of them to reach their goals, which is an awesome thing to have. And if you realize that now, it's going to be great for you when you do. It's just going to make yourself better for when you do reach that moment that you've been waiting for, of being all-state, or being a state champ, or being top 5 in the state, whatever your goal is, or getting a team trophy. That's the worst thing. If you're somebody on a team that was 6th place, and you say, we didn't get a trophy, I'm just not going to do it. Well, you're hurting your high school team. So just food for thought. Everybody can do what they want to do, but yeah, you also got to think about the teammates around you as well when you make a decision like that, and what that means for them as well. And on to the 4A boys. Great individual race. It was Braden Domet, though, from the start. He opened up sub 5 and just tried to hang on and tried to get sub 10. He ended up getting 10:07, which is slightly off of his PR, but got the state win overall. He looked great. Luca Nims, 10:29, his teammate, for second. They went 1-2. They unfortunately did not get a trophy. They were 5th overall. They were 5th by 6 points, too. So, narrowly missed a trophy. And then, it just sucks. But on the team side, it was Morton who ended up getting the team win. Another team win for Morton. Edwardsville Liberty was second, 137. Buffalo Grove Cooper was third, 174. And Lake in the Hills Marlowe was 4th, and 182. Yes, there we go. About 20 minutes. Talked about all the IESA classifications, ran them down. It was a great meet overall. I love the IESA state meet. I would love it if more middle schools joined it. I think that it's no doubt the best thing you can do if you if you're in middle school for your athletics is join the IESA. It raises the level of your guys' or your school's competition when you face those teams. When you only face against kids in your conference or teams in your conference, um, you own that's the only thing you know. You want to be the best in your conference. Cool. How good is your conference? You know when everybody's only shooting to be the best in the conference. Now when you're shooting to be best in the state, that brings up that bar from here up to here. So yeah, that highly encourage anybody that is not in the IASA to join. It's the greatest thing that you can do for your kids that are competing for your schools. That's going to help them out so much when they get to high school. It's going to help them so much when they try and go out, or when they go off to college, hopefully, in their respective sports. I'm not just talking about cross country and track here. I'm talking about all sports. If you are in the IES, or if you are in middle school, please, you should join the IESA. It's a great event, great meet every year. I love it. Nicole from the IESA is amazing. The hospitality was amazing that I had while I was there. Got a lot of content. Go check that out as well. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.